So the generators, it mentioned that it is the most convenient technique for creating iterators in Python. So it is a kind of function, and it will not return the values, but it will keep the values in the kind of memory, in the computer memory. So you already see the examples. Okay, let me repeat this one. I have a function, factors, and then I want to make an iteration. So this iteration is from 1 until n minus 1. Let's say I will define n in numbers. Okay. So if n divided by k or n remainder k equals to 0, then save the key. Okay. So let's see this one. I have the factors with one parameter, 10. So 10 will be in the n. So I will do the loop from 1 until 10. So the loop will be 1, and then 2, and then 3, and until 10. And remainder k. So it means 10, I would like to divide with k. So k now is 1. So 10 remainder 1 equals to 0. Yes. So I will keep it in the yield. So yield k means I will keep 1. And then I will go to the next number, which is 2. So 10 remainder 2. Is it 0? Yes. Then I will keep 2. And then I go to the next 3. So 10 remainder 3. Is it 0? No. Then I will not keep this one. So I will go to the next number, which is 4. 10 remainder 4 equals to 0. No. And so on until we reach 10. 10 remainder 10 is 0. Yes. So we keep only 1, 2, 5, and 10. So the answer will be like this one. However, when you run this factors 10, you will get the generator object. This generator object means the object that you put in this information, now it is saved in the computer memory. And if you want to show this result, you need to show it with one variable. You can put into one variable, which is phi, for example, and then you can loop. Okay. So if you just show with phi, so if you just click V like this, it shows the same value with this one. So it is the address of the computer. You can check the numbers inside V using the for loop. So you can see that now it is 1, 2, 5, and 10. So this is the answer from the function factors. Okay. I remember one student asked me about the is. Last time I give one example. Sure, maybe here. Okay, is. Okay. So there's one question from the student, why actually the content is the same. A is B is false. Okay. So the problem in is actually it is only valid for small numbers. Okay. So if I have A equals to, let's say, 20, okay, and then let's say I have B equals to 20. So they are in the same number. For the efficiency purpose, A is B, it is true. Okay. So for the efficiency purpose, Python can make the variable, in this case A and B, which have the same value. So the same value here is the small value only. The small value is in the form of byte. Yeah, if you understand the concept of the data type, in the computer, they have the data type as byte. Byte is a number between 0 until 255. So if the number is small, then Python can put those variables in the same computer address. So for example, this one, I can check the ID. And I can check the ID. And you can see that the ID of A, it is exactly the same with the variable B. That's why when you put the A is B, it is true. Okay. But if you have another kind of data type, it will not be true. So let's say if you have like A, B, C, and then D is also A, B, C. Because the data type is very complex, if you can see this one, print ID C, so it will have in another ID, in computer ID. And if you see this one, it is not same. That's why when you try to check C is D, then it is false, because they are located in different ID. So the is only for the small number. Okay, just want to clarify that one. Next, it is about the conditional expression. I think you already learned the conditional expression using if. In Python, we can do the conditional expression. We can replace it with a simple control structure. Okay. So what is the meaning by simple control structure? We can put the syntax in an expression with a single line. So this is the expression. And then I have the if, I have the condition, I have the else, and then I have the other expression. So in this case, let's say I have the param, this is one variable, it will be equal to n if n is greater than 0, else minus n. Okay. So if I check this one, n equals to 5, I will have param, it will be n if n is greater than equal to 0, else minus n. So what is the value of param? you will get the value of param is 5. Right? We check this condition. Is it true or not? If it is true, then we keep this value as the value for this variable. If this one false, then we use this value for this variable. Now, what is n? N is 5. So 5 is greater than 0. Then it will be 5 for the variable param. Now, let's say I have minus 2. Then param is minus 2. And I would like to get the positive value. Okay. So we call this is the conditional expression. We can put this kind of thing in the parameter in the function as well. So yeah, I will not show you. So we can use this kind of function to indicate how you want to run the function. So let's suppose I want to give the parameter n. Okay. N is a kind of value. Maybe let's suppose I give minus 10. Okay. So I have the factors before. Okay, let me call again. Okay, let me call this one again. So I want to make this parameter, and let's suppose I make the when I run something, the result of n is minus 10. So I will limit this one. So the factors will be n if n is greater than 0, else it is minus n. So I want to keep the value in the brackets as a positive number, not negative number. Then you can do as well. You know that this one is a function like this one. You want to change for every value which is negative, you want to put it as a positive. So you can put inside of this bracket as the parameters. Then you can do again p print I. So you still get the value. Okay. In Python, we also have the comprehension syntax. It is a common programming test. It is to produce one series of values based upon the processing of another series. So, for example, if we have the expression this one. Before we have the expression for if or conditional syntax, but now we have the comprehension syntax. Okay. This syntax actually is the same with this syntax. Okay, let me show you. Do you know about append? Suppose I have an empty list. Okay. Now I would like to add the elements in this empty list. Let's say I want to add one element. So I can use append. When I append this one, so I can get the result is one element A. Now if I add another element B, then result will be two elements A and B. Okay. So you can use this information with the very basic comprehension syntax. I have one example. So let's say I can have the result. It equals to I for the I in range 0 until 5. So in this case, I will put every value of I on which the I is in the range of 0 until 5. You will get the value of 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it will be in the list. Okay. So this is the same with the result equals to blank, and then I want to put the I in range 0, 5, and then I would like to put the result append I. Okay, let me change this one, result 1. Result 1. So this statement actually is the same with this one. The result here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the result here is also 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. With this comprehension syntax, you can just write in one line. But with this one, you need to write multiple lines. So that's the meaning by the comprehension syntax. For any kind of data, okay, we have the word packing. Packing means it is a series of comma-separated expression. It will be given when you have some data in the large context. So it will be treated as the single tuple even if no enclosing parentheses are provided. So for example, I have data and then I put all the numbers. And with this kind of information, Python will automatically generate tuple. You still remember tuple? Okay, we have three kind of symbols in the Python. We can use the square bracket for list. We can use the common parenthesis or brackets for tuple, and we can use the curly bracket. This is for set and dictionary. Okay. So when we have this kind of information, it is for tuple. We call this is the automatic packing. I have data equals to 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Then when I put this data, it will be in the form of tuple. Unpacking. Unpacking as a dual the packing behavior. Okay. So we learned the previous one is packing. So once we have a lot of data, and then we can put it into one tuple. But for this one, we can put it into different variable because this one is unpacked. So Python can automatically unpack a sequence, allowing one to assign a series of individual identifiers to the elements of a sequence. So we know that range. Okay. What does it mean by range? We have range 7, 11. Oh, maybe better to see range. So if I have the range 7, 11, it means I would like to check the numbers between 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, until n minus 1. So I have 4 numbers and I want to put or every numbers into a variable. So I can just put a, comma b, comma c, comma d. It will be range 7, 11. So it will be automatically unpacked. So the a, it will be 7, b, it will be 8, c, it will be 9, and d, it will be 10. Okay. Because this is unpacked. What use? So the Python, we have many built-in definitions here. So we will learn about this definition during the class. The standard Python distribution includes perhaps tens of thousands of other values, functions, and classes. So we call this is modules. For example, math. So in the math, we have a lot of functions you can use for any purpose. For example, if I use math, okay, I can know the pipe. So you don't need to memorize the numbers, but you can just reuse the pipe and so on. So there are many modules that you can learn. For example, array. Okay, we will use array later. Collections, copy, heap, math, OS. OS means they want to know what kind of operating system that now you're using in your computer. If you are using Windows, it will be different with iOS. So they will check the compatibility of your computer. Random, RE for the regular expression, SYS it is for the system. Time, yeah, it is to measure the time. So later we will check some of them for our course. Okay, so that's the end of the chapter 2, the Python 2. Okay, let me just continue to the next section, which is about the object oriented. So the object oriented, it will discuss about the basic object oriented, and then what are the object oriented design principles and what is the abstract data type. The goal of object oriented programming, or we call it OOP, it is for the robustness. So we want software to be capable of handling unexpected inputs. They are not explicitly defined for each application. And we want to adapt one program to another condition, to different kind of condition. So software needs to be able to evolve over time in response to changing conditions. So if we can create the object, then we can change, we can improve, we can redevelop the object. And the code will be reusable. So the same code should be usable as a component of different systems in various applications. So that's the purpose of the OOP, or the object-oriented programming. When we call object, it means this is instance, and this is an instance of a class. So we will check what is the meaning by object, or what is the meaning by instance. Each class presents the outside world a concise and a consistent view of the objects that are instances of this class. And it is without going into too much unnecessary detail or giving other access to the inner working of the object. So I will let you know what does it mean like this one. So we will have later the instance variables. Sometimes we call the instance variable as the data members. And we can also have methods, or we call as member functions. So we will check later what is instance variables and what is method. So let's say I have person object. One person is one object. So I can define with the word class. It is to define the class name. Suppose I have, this is a class diagram, and this is the class name. The class name is a person, and as you know, we can use def to define one function. So I have one class person, and in this class I have one function, and in this function I will have one statement. Let me make a new one. So I will make this as the chapter 3. Okay, I will upload this file to the e-class for you to study more for this chapter. So the chapter 3, now it is about the object oriented. Let's make the class person. So whenever we have a statement with if, for, while, def, class, so we need to end with col. So now I identify one class, which is person, and then I have one function. let's say I use say hi. Okay. Because it is a class, I need to define one parameter, which is self. So this is the parameter for a class. And I have one statement. Maybe, how are you? Okay. Now, I want to have the first object, for example, the person 1. The person 1, it is the first object. So I will call the class name. Because the person 1 is the object. So because the P1 is the object from the person, so the P1 can get anything from this class. What is anything? So in this case, I have the method. So I can do P1. If you want to check, you can press dot. Okay. After you press the dot, you can press the tab symbol. Okay. When you press the tab symbol, it will show you directly the function. So if there are many functions, then it will show you a lot of possible functions. So in this case, I have one function which is say hi. Because it is a function, then I need to use the bracket like this. So I can say that this object can do the function say hi. Now, this function is only having one method, but as I mentioned to you, function can have methods and it can have instance variable. Instance variable means, yeah, if I have the person object, then the person should have name, or the person should have maybe phone number, or the person should have like ID. Okay. Then how can we do that one? So we, in the object oriented, it means we want to make the person P1 as the object 1, P2 as the object 2, P3 as the object 3, and so on. So we can think this is a kind of data in the tabular format or a kind of Excel. So the person 1, P1. The person 2 is P2. The person 3 is P3. Okay. So we have 3 objects, or it means we have 3 rows. And then to call the method, we use the dot to access the method. So if you have P1, okay, say hi, and then if you have P2, yeah, you can use also say hi and so on. So for example, I want to create another object. Let's say this one. If I just directly say hi, is it possible? Not possible because P2 has not been defined as object. So you need to define P2 as an object of person. And after you define P2 as the object of person, you can get anything from the person class. So you can do the same as P1. Okay. So in the class definition, the class serves as the primary means for the abstraction in object-oriented programming. Okay. We can say this is the basic things for the data structure. So during this class, you will see a lot of class definition. And yeah, I hope that until this the end of the semester, when you do the final project, the team project, you will make your own class. Okay. So that's the goal of the team project. So in Python, every piece of data is represented as an instance of some class. A class provides a set of behaviors in the form of member function. Okay. So for now, we use only one method. And a class also serves as a blueprint for its instance. So it is effectively determining the way that state information for its instance is represented in the form of attributes. So if you learn like in the data mining, yeah, we have the P1. This is one object. And then we will have the attribute. The attribute 1, for example, the name. The attribute 2, for example, the ID. Attribute 3, and so on. Sometimes the attributes, it refers to fields or instance variables or data members. And when we use the attributes later, we need to have self. The self identifier plays a key role. In any class, there can possibly be many different instances, and each must maintain its own instance variables. Therefore, each instance stores its own instance variable to reflect its current state. Syntactically, self identify the instance upon which a method is invoked. Maybe you can try to understand this word by this example. I have the class diagram. So I still use the same class, which is person. Now I can distinguish this class diagram into three. The first is the class name. The second layer is the data member. And the third layer is the methods. The class name means, yeah, it is the class that you want to define in Python. The data member, it is the data that you need to use in that class. For example, in the first example, I don't have any data member. But in this class, we have name, and the name will be in the string. And then I have age, and age will be in integer. And the last one, I have methods. So methods means function. So this function, it will do something. For example, I want to get the name. So it will call the name. I want to get the age. So I will update, or I will get the age. I want to set another information. Okay, maybe the person name has been changed, or the age has been added by 1. So I want to update those information. So I have one function to update the information. Okay, I will explain this one after the break. Let's have a break.